What is up, my friends? You're very welcome along to Monday night's late night agenda, and oh my days, have I got a busy show for you. I'm going to do my best to fly through these stories over the next 8 to 10 minutes and ask you to just do me one simple thing. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm not going to hang around today. I'm going to get straight into it. So there is a report today that say that Liverpool will make a 45 million euro offer to Fiorentina for the services of Sofyan Amrabat. What we know about this dude is, one, he absolutely shined during the World Cup, but Jurgen Klopp hasn't just got match of the day fever. He has been monitoring and speaking about Sofyan Amrabat and has been reported to have spoken to his representatives right back before the World Cup. Fiorentina will not want to lose this guy. Of course they won't. They do have an option to extend his contract from 2024 to 2025, and it's believed that they will exercise that option. Now, that isn't a worry. That isn't something that will put off buying clubs because you're still going to have to pay a fairly decent fee for him. But I don't know about you folks, but 45 million euro, which is about, I guess, 40 odd million pound, maybe a few quid below, seems fair value to me for somebody who can come in and show exactly what we need, which is a bit of grit, a bit of determination, a bit of hardiness in that midfield. We used to have that with Fabinho, and I hope that we can get back to having Fabinho at his very best. But this is a good sign for me. And again, it's been reported by Anfield Edition on this case, and they credit at Lions de l'Atlas. I don't know what that means or who that's from, but either way, this is a story that I do believe has legs. I do believe there is truth to, and I'm very much waiting to see how it all pans out with regards to Amrabat. Now, we aren't the only ones who are looking to bring in Sofyan Amrabat. Atletico Madrid, Spurs and Liverpool are the three clubs mainly interested in his signature. LFC Transfer Room put out something today that said, as per at Santi_J_FM, Klopp has already met with Sofyan Amrabat and wants the midfield to move to Anfield. Amrabat prefers, in all capital letters, a move to Liverpool despite interest in Spurs and Atletico Madrid. And again, they're talking about a price tag there of about £35 million, which kind of weighs up equally to what we spoke about a minute ago, £35–40 million. It seems like good business to me. It seems like good value to me. It also goes on to say that Klopp has already spoken and met with Sofyan Amrabat's agent, and another meeting is expected to take place soon. So that's positive news. That's news that I think we can all hang our hats on, and news that I'm happy to say I fully believe. You know, there's some other stuff that I've told you guys about before that I've had a bit of a downer on, and I'll move on to that in a moment. But on Sofyan Amrabat, I think it's looking positive, and all signs point to hopefully Liverpool looking to get that move done early, because the window opens up not too long from now, and we are back, as I say, in action on Thursday against Manchester City in the League Cup. I don't know about you, but I cannot wait. There's also another interesting tweet today from our friends at LFC Transfer Room, and they credit the Mail Sport when they say that Liverpool remain open to loan deals, possibly including Weston McKennie. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, it should. Liverpool were linked with this guy before he moved to Juventus when he was at Schalke. We didn't pull the trigger on that, and he went to Juventus in the end. But as we know, there's a lot of upheaval at Juventus at the minute. Their entire board resigned, and there's some, well, let's just say there's some details to be worked out there for Juventus as a club, and maybe a possibility of getting Weston McKennie in on loan appeals to Jurgen Klopp. My own belief, I don't like loan deals. I don't like them for one simple reason. If a player comes in on loan and works out and you want to buy him permanently, as a fan, and this is very selfish, it doesn't feel like you're getting a new player because you've already seen the services of the player and you've already maybe thought to yourself, well, he's part of that Liverpool team now. And then if Liverpool go and sign the person, it kind of feels like, oh, we're not getting that new here. But maybe that's just me. That's the way I've looked at loan deals, weirdly. The only one I disagree with, actually, was Nicolas Anelka. Still don't to this day understand why Liverpool didn't sign him when we had him on loan, and he did very well for us. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on to another story, and this one is around Jude Bellingham. Fabrizio Romano was speaking to Bet Victor about the situation with Jude Bellingham, and he said Liverpool are continuing to push for Bellingham. Borussia Dortmund now want a fee of around €130 million to sell the a 19-year-old. Now, you guys don't need me to tell you that you don't need Fabrizio or anybody else to fill you in on Bellingham wanting to come to Liverpool. But what I have always said, and to be fair to the likes of Fabrizio and many other top-tier journalists, I won't have the details for you on the little things, the wages, the fees. That's not where I had my point of contact on this. Mine has always been just about the player, his family and his representatives feeling that Liverpool are going to be his next destination and the right fit. So again, all signs pointing towards positively Liverpool looking towards Bellingham. Now I want to move on to another story that caught my attention, and that is that we will have Jordan Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold available for that game against Manchester City on Thursday. Both have trained after the World Cup. Again, I'm going to credit Anfield Edition with this post, and they credit in turn Liverpool Echo, who say both Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jordan Henderson are expected to be in the squad for Thursday's Carabao Cup game against Manchester City, while Virgil van Dijk should be available for Monday's Premier League visit of I was going to say of Argentina. I'm getting ahead of myself thinking about the World Cup, of Aston Villa, sorry. And the last thing I wanted to bring to you guys today before I finish up, and I'm actually ahead of schedule here, I'm only about 6 minutes in at this point, is a story that I brought to you guys the other day. I told you that, to the best of my knowledge and the best of the journalists and people that we've reached out to, that there was no pre-agreement or deal in place to sign Enzo Fernandez. I don't like to keep repeating this, but you need to be very careful, especially if you're using social media for your transfer talk and gossip, because often at times a random journalist from somewhere around the world will pop up with some nonsense story and it gets legs because people want it to be true. It's human nature. We want, any positive story or links for Liverpool Football Club to come true. Now, the interest in Enzo Fernandez is absolutely genuine. I keep crediting Melissa Reddy for this because she's the first journalist that I remember mentioning it. But I did say to you the other day in one of these videos that when we've reached out to journalists or we've spoken to people that we know inside the industry, and it isn't that many, I'm not sitting here trying to claim out like I'm a super agent, but I do have a few points of contact. And we were told that none of these journalists or none of these people inside the industry were told anything about agreement in place for Enzo Fernandez. So I know there are a couple of accounts on Twitter who are saying that the deal's inching closer and that Liverpool will pay the release clause and that there is an agreement behind the scenes. It isn't the case. It never has been the case. But that doesn't mean we won't or cannot go after the guy. He was named Young Player of the Tournament for the World Cup. Probably very deserving of that as well. He had a fantastic tournament. And there is interest there. Now, I don't know if the release clause is 120 million or it's 70 million, because those two figures have been mentioned as two different numbers. One by Marca and one by most other parts of the media. So all I can say to you is the interest in Enzo Fernandez is entirely concrete and true, but don't believe that it's just about to happen or that we have an agreement in place, because like we've told you, it simply isn't the case, and I won't come on here and lie to you. I want it to happen. I want Liverpool to sign the best players, but I get really wound up when I see people on social media or see people who are just doing these things for clicks and for views and for clout, when ultimately they are lying to their fellow fans. Now look, we all have to do stuff to get clicks. We all have to do stuff to get views. But I try to let our content be the thing that brings people back here, and not lies, because lies only get you short-term gain. So for me, just to recap, Weston McKennie, apparently a possibility for a loan with Liverpool looking at it. Enzo Fernandez, interest is there, but as per Paul Gorst and Anfield Edition posting this earlier on, there is no agreement in place that anybody is aware of, and Liverpool are still front runners for Jude Bellingham. That's pretty much where we are today, my friends, as well as the Sophie and Amrabat stuff as well. And I want to know, would you pay 45 million euro? Do you think that's a fair enough fee to bring him in? About 39 million pound? I do. Over to you now, my friends. I will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Much love as always. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.